Hi everyone, welcome back. So let's talk about ChatGPT, Elon Musk announcing on Tucker Carlson that he's going to be starting his own AI company called XAI, okay, basically competing with ChatGPT, which he founded in 2015. Elon helped found it, right? But that but he walked away from it completely. Okay, I think it is also conflicting with his own AI research that was being done with Tesla at the time, but he's stepped away for a number of reasons. Okay, and he's basically warning us about the dangers, saying that it's more dangerous than nukes. So ChatGPT, owned by what is it? OpenAI. OpenAI, currently driven by Microsoft. Okay, so I really want to just set the scene in terms of Twitter and the effects of government interference in our lives. Okay, privacy, um, what we don't even know what's going on. Okay, and how they're looking into our communications, violating their own privacy policies that they allegedly supposed to be in place to protect us. Okay, so just have a look at this.
The degree to which various government agencies had effectively had full access to everything that was going on Twitter blew my mind. I was not aware of that.
Would that include people's
Crazy.
DMs?
Yes.
That's pretty incredible, Carl, that the government even had access to direct messages on Twitter. Your reaction?
Yeah, if you look at what Representative Jim Jordan has done, he is all about exposing the weaponization of government. And this is just yet another example. What we are seeing right now from the Federal Trade Commission, one of the most powerful government agencies, is basically a harassment campaign against Elon Musk for making us aware of this type of pressuring of social media platforms by our own government. And let's remember that we have a government that is now asking for more and more power, more and more money to increase the pressure. And so I will expect Congress to step in, start cutting the funding to these agencies, start using things like the Holman Rule, where we can actually cut funding to specific federal employees themselves when they engage in these types of harassments of political enemies.
Okay, I mean, in my opinion, behind the scenes, Elon Musk is regarded as an enemy because he's giving us alternatives. He's telling people about what's really going on, especially with regards to the level of involvement that he was shocked at. You know, the overstepping of procedures, of policy, of regulation, complete overstepping at Twitter. When he went onto Twitter, he just says now, you know, he was shocked that our DMs, they were looking through everything, trolling through everything. So Twitter, of course, is one of the smaller social media platforms, right? But it is heavily used by media agencies, formal media agencies, heavily used by governments, heavily transacted basically to control us. Okay, so this was just crazy that when you look at semiconductors, right? Semiconductors, we basically run on semiconductors. Okay, let me just bring this up. So 70 to 90%. Some sources quote 70%, some sources quote 90%, but the bulk of semiconductors are produced in Taiwan. Taiwan has got a very capable research and development arm. Okay, very capable. And they're producing the bulk. So what is it used for? Just some highlights. Okay, I'm not an expert on this, and this is just from my own research. It's basically used. Look around the room that you're sitting in. It's used in everything. The manufacturing is not a simple process. Okay, it's not a lower level semiconductor. Okay, it's an advanced semiconductor for computers, electric cars, phones, laser. AI technology depends on this. So Elon is actually was looking into the shortage of semiconductors, you know, and how they can start building a stockpile essentially and creating his own company. It's going to cost. He's got the money. It would have cost, I think, around from the research that I read, about $20 billion, which is not a lot relative to the company's net worth, his company's net worth and his net worth. But it would have cost around 20 billion. Okay, so they're looking into this. Countries are jumping on this bandwagon. This is what's running everything. Okay, But this is where it gets interesting. So don't misunderstand that fight between USA supporting Taiwan and Taiwan against China. There's a lot of things on the table, and one of the big things is this, okay, semiconductors, because it's really weapons grade technology, advanced semiconductors, okay, communication navigation systems, safety equipment, engine and flight control systems, missile systems, avionics systems, just to mention a few. This is where it gets interesting in the manufacturing of advanced semiconductors, okay, for this kind of thing. Rare gases like neon are used, imported from Ukraine and Russia. This I couldn't have made this stuff up if I was trying, okay. So what did I want to show you? Have a look at this. Look at the demand for semiconductors. 556 billion. This is from ShipHub, okay? 556 billion in 2021. Sales. Ridiculous. It then jumps up 26% in 2020. Imagine now, okay? Semiconductors market growth. Who's wanting this? Where is the growth? Look at that. Alliance countries, NATO basically. America region, USA, that's what they mean when they say America, and Europe, APAC and Germany. Now look at the production. Have a look at this. World's top semiconductor producers. Used to be Taiwan, stopping a bit. China wants to take over. China's got to develop their research and development arm, though. You may think that it's got an advanced research and development arm, but not entirely, in certain areas, especially when it comes to advanced military grade weapons. You still have to import some things from other countries. So they don't want to do this anymore. They want to develop their own in terms of R&D. But have a look at this. This is, guys, I'm not making this up. This is why the US is getting involved. This is why the US is getting involved. Okay? And this is why China has to, well, not has to, no one has to do anything, but this is what China wants. They want to own, one of the things geopolitically is to own the production of semiconductors, advanced semiconductors that are going to basically run AI, military grade weapons, and not to mention our daily lives. Okay? It's about control. And that is what USA wants as well. That is what USA wants as well. So do your own research. Look at this. Now let's just bring the conversation back. I just wanted to mention this. I'm going to do more videos on the China, Taiwan, USA involvement, okay, relative to Russia and the relationship. But I just wanted to throw this in here because you cannot look at ChatGPT and you cannot look at AI without looking at the geopolitical scenario, looking at who's manufacturing it, who are the producers of it, and why the other countries are getting involved. Don't fall for the nonsense of, oh, we just want to protect countries, want to help Taiwan defend itself against China. That is all nonsense. They are not there for that reason. Listen to this. Crazy. Just check my volume.
What's happening is they're training the AI to lie.
Yes.
It's bad.
To lie.
To
That's
lie.
exactly right. And to withhold information.
To lie and yes, comment on some things, not comment on other things, but not to say what the data actually demands that it say.
How did it get this way? I thought you funded it at the beginning. What happened?
Yeah, well, that'll be ironic. But the most ironic outcome is most likely, it seems.
I mean, it's crazy. Okay, so the reason why it's so insane is because there's lots of articles about, no, it's not that. It's, we're blowing this out of proportion. It's not going to create job redundancy in certain fields, etc., etc. But what Elon is not, he's not describing this. He talks in other videos about how it's not a simple case of AI gone wrong in the case of if AI takes over and they mess up on still a disaster, for example, a flight engineering plan, okay, or a car design that's going to cause deaths, I suppose, in that case. So what he's describing is something way more insidious and way more dangerous. We're talking about a cultural invasion of the human psyche. So when you type into an AI interface, sorry, when you type into Google at the moment, when you type in what is the capital of Germany, Spain, whatever, it'll give you an answer. So that's how the Google algorithm is now designed. It's designed to collate data and give you an answer, but in a very simple conversational manner, in a very simple fact-finding mission type exercises. Okay, that's how we're used to getting quick answers. What's the definition of this? What does this mean? What is happening? What is the capital of this? Etc. Etc. So it's very transactional at the moment, Google interface. So what ChatGPT way differs is it's allowing us to have a conversational style, a seamless interface. It's allowing us to get answers on seemingly complex questions, not complex in the sense of the subject matter is complex, but in the sense of collating information. So right now, if I want to ask Google something, I've got to go to different sources, find it, like what I'm doing and showing you now. I've got to collate all of this information. You've seen me traverse between the different tabs. I'm going to this YouTube clip, that YouTube clip. I'm researching on Google, etc., etc., and I'm doing my own research, and I'm bringing it to you. ChatGPT will now have that conversation with you. So it's kind of like a friend talking and telling you, oh, fine, this is the story. These are the answers. And in the PR campaign, it's designed to collate this data based on real data, real customer research, real conversation, dialogue, and habits. But it's actually way more insidious, especially if there's a body here that's regulating the answers. So we are becoming more and more, we are so dependent now on research engines. For example, Google. Okay, I don't want to only mention Google, but I'm just going to use, because most of you use that. So we are so heavily dependent on Google. Back from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I mean, we can't move without it. We can't do anything without it. Imagine now this interface that's going to tell you, okay, I'll write your paper for you. You want legal advice? Here's legal advice. You want to know what's happening in this part of the world? Here's what's happening in this part of the world. I will collect all that information for you, me, the AI, and I will bring it to you. That's going to just sit in here, invade your psyche, invade your opinion, control you. So they're controlling you on an emotional level, it's actually getting into your brainwaves. It's laying down new neural tracks. That's what it's doing. That's how invasive it is. That's how it's going to control young people, older people. Quick answers. We're already being replaced, okay?
Tucker, that is interesting that he helped fund it in the beginning. He talks about these programmers being left-wing. So if you go on ChatGPT and you ask, who is Donald Trump, or that you ask, who is Joe Biden, will you get completely skewed answers?
I think it's probably more subtle and more insidious than that. But look,
more subtle and more insidious. Okay, that's what they're saying. I want to actually show you. Look at these users on ChatGPT. 1 million. The early adoption was incredible. And this is just early days. Okay, it hasn't even reached that point where it's now legitimately using real-time data on how we chat to each other, how we talk to each other, taken from God knows which sources in terms of our private information, okay, feeding that into the system. It hasn't even gone there yet. So when it goes there, imagine this. Look at BuzzFeed. Where did I get this story on BuzzFeed? Yeah, look at this. BuzzFeed announced its layoff of 12. When was this? I can't look at, 2023, January. Okay, 12% of its personnel due to AI, because it's outsourced to ChatGPT. By the way, that stands for Generated Pre-trained Transformer. I looked that up, okay, because I didn't actually know that. But yeah, they're already doing layoffs, guys. Already, okay. I want to also show you this article. So be aware of things like this, okay? I was quite surprised when I was doing my research. This is Stuart Mills, assistant professor of economics at the University of Leeds. I mean, it's crazy. Listen to what he says. Okay. ChatGPT also has cheats. He talks about the remarkable technological development and how we shouldn't all be so scared. Some economists argue that technology increases productivity without threatening mass redundancy because it creates new jobs. But there is never any guarantee that the new jobs will be as well paid, secure, or fulfilling as the ones which we have been lost to automation. Workers have every reason to suffer from automation anxiety. Okay, fine. He says that, which is great. Then he talks about the late anthropologist. Compelling and controversial theory of bullshit jobs began to highlight this. His idea was that a large number of mostly office jobs are essentially pointless, that even the people doing them feel they contribute very little to society. An argument can be made for that, okay? But he goes on to talk about how some argue that top managers revel in managing large teams because it gives them prestige and authority. Many employees can also make firms look more legitimate, which might have strategic benefits. All true. Okay? All true. ChatGPT makes Beer's argument dissolve rather than solve more important. Certainly, a use of ChatGPT is to fix formulas in spreadsheets. But if the spreadsheets are necessary, this won't benefit anybody. He goes on talking about the benefits and the pros and cons about ChatGPT. Okay, some of his opinions I hear, some of it I don't agree with. Okay, but have a look. I just wanted to put this article up so you can just make up your own mind. Okay, please, I'm giving you all of these tools so that you can look at the different sides of the argument. Okay, and see what they're saying, because just because someone's a professor, in this case I agree with some of his points, I don't agree with his other points, especially when he hints towards the fact that jobs aren't really going to get laid off, unless I'm misunderstood. But just have a look and tell me what you think, okay? Because clearly BuzzFeed is doing that, okay? BuzzFeed is doing that, and others who are already using ChatGPT. Already the million users that are on there, it's writing papers for them. It's giving them. I think there was a paper that was done, from a prestigious company, and ChatGPT completed the paper. A prestigious university, and ChatGPT got a B on a complex topic. So we're going to be dumbing down. We're going to be dumbing down. Leave alone all the other issues that are involved. Okay. Listen to the rest of what they say here.
That. But look, the main struggle of our time is the struggle to control information, to control what we know, and therefore the conclusions that we draw from the information. The internet is a huge threat to people like Chuck Schumer, people who want political power. And so what you're seeing right now is the U.S. Congress, is the government, try to seize control of the way AI is developed, because it's always developing, it's always becoming stronger and more knowledgeable, early, in order to bake the dishonesty into it, in order to control the minds of the American population. This is a direct attack on democracy. You can't have a democracy unless people know what's happening, right? Unless they can cast an informed vote. And the effort by Washington, to some extent on a bipartisan basis, is to prevent you from knowing what's happening in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a Tucker Carlson today with the founders of Wikipedia. Same thing, that had attempted to have effectively an encyclopedia of all knowledge, and it turned into a left-wing engine, and you can definitely see the potential for this here. You broke some news, too, Tucker, in this interview about what Elon Musk might be doing about it. Here's the clip.
I'm going to start something which I know you could call truth GPT, or a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. And I think this might be the best path to safety, in the sense that an AI that cares about understanding the universe is unlikely to annihilate humans, because we are an interesting part of the universe.
Okay, so to regulate the internet in the first place is a crazy start. It's just a crazy start. It's a destructive start, because yes, there's dark sides to the internet, of course, but that's our only place for free speech and free information, and that's our space where we can now be ourselves on that platform, guys. That's the only space left for us. Okay, everything else is regulated. Everything, from universities to schools. We are living under global media dictatorship. Global media dictatorship. Understand what that means and get involved, because if you don't get involved in the conversation, but by getting involved, I'm talking about just informing yourself, using my channel and using the internet to find out information, and don't take things at face value. Places like CNN, you can't, you simply cannot, take that at face value and run with that information. You have to, now the onus is on us to find this information out ourselves, to look at the sides of the argument and find out what are we consuming and what are we giving our children, and what are we breeding, what kind of culture are we breeding, So that's what I wanted to share with you. Did I forget anything? Let me just have a look. Yeah, so that's really interesting. Let's just keep a heads up on and see where this whole thing is going, because for me, if we were talking about any other low-level technology, okay, a ballpoint pen, okay, we would not be having this debate. Trust me, this is more important than oil. This is more important than fuel, okay, and no one is regarding it that way. Not many people are couching it that way. Not many of them. The mainstream media is definitely not looking at this in the same way, okay. So have a look at it. Keep your eye on the prize in terms of the geopolitical situation, okay. Understand that wherever there's war, there's an asset there that's being fought over, and it's not the people, and it's not the infrastructure. Well, of course it's infrastructure, because the infrastructure will allow you to get to the resources, but it's the resources. It's the precious minerals, it's the metals. For example, neon. Russia and Ukraine. Neon is used in the production of semiconductors. Okay, there's so many things, and it's just such a pity that if only there was a collaboration across countries, there wasn't this divide, we wouldn't have any of these issues. We wouldn't have it's just frustrating, honestly, to look at how our money is being spent and our resources are being spent. So you are basically taking my mind and fiddling with my mind through your AI. That's what you're doing. You're molesting my mind. Make no mistake. Okay. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to all of you about. Let's keep an eye on this. Okay, we'll definitely be coming back to this, because it's a big topic. It's going to just get bigger and bigger. Please subscribe, please share, and let's get the message out.